Hi there, I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta here with you today on the 2nd of August 2013. Top story today, of course, Tropical Storm Jebi. Looking more like a severe tropical storm today, actually. Very good rotation around the center of circulation. Also, today we are watching Invest 94W, though, here near Palau. That very well could become the next tropical system, and then well off towards the east there's another area of convection, maybe something happening here in the long range. Not just this is the top story, another fun fact we found out late last night. If you followed us for any period of time, you know that James Reynolds does share a lot of his information with us, and really a westernpacificweather.com author. His footage was used in Sharknado, the most recent cult classic out here. So yeah, if you haven't seen that movie, do go check it out. If anything, just to see James Reynolds footage. Spoiler, it's definitely the worst movie of all time. Forget science, but yeah. Now, as you take a look closer at Tropical Storm Jebi here, winds right now actually being reported, or at least by the Japan Meteorological Agency, about 45, gusting up to 65 knots. So gusts getting near the typhoon intensity. You need a little bit stronger to become a severe tropical storm. Center of circulation is wrapping well around the low-level circulation here. We do have an abundant amount of moisture coming in from the south. A little drier inflow on the north, but that is nothing. Also, we have Invest 93W right here, which really is just part of that robust inflow around the storm system. I didn't expect too much out of this, but it did have a very tight low-level circulation once it spun up there just around the Luzon Strait. On radar imagery, it's actually quite impressive when this passed Taiwan. You can see the low-level circulation here just south of Taiwan, pushing off there towards the northwest. Yeah, that looks like a tropical system, or at least it's trying to look like one, but really it was part of the overall flow. It couldn't get its act together too much here, but it did drop some heavy rainfall. There was actually heavy rain warnings in there across portions of southern Taiwan as this did push by. Really just a low-level circulation embedded within this outflow, and it had enough moisture to produce that heavy rainfall. But this is the official track of the center of Jebi here from the Japan Meteorological Agency. Winds 45, gusting to 65 knots. Expecting to maintain this intensity, though, which is quite surprising after it makes landfall here on Friday evening. Moving across Hainan, it could drop up to about 150 to 250 millimeters here. Not just here, over towards Guangdong Province, also off towards Guangxi Province. So there's a serious risk of flooding after this does push by. Then off there towards the Gulf of Tonkin and moving in towards northern Vietnam, where we'll bring that heavy rainfall. Also some winds could very well be damaging, but I think the rains are going to be the main threat with this. Also, along the eastern periphery of it, you have that long fetch area pushing on shore. We've been seeing signal force 3 in Hong Kong throughout the day on Thursday going into Friday. That's still going to be there. Winds could be gusting about 80-90 kilometers per hour, eventually wrapping around this. Then over towards Haiphong, I do think the winds are going to kick up there. I also could see some waves about 2 to 4 meters high inside the Gulf, about 4 to 5 outside of it after that does push on shore. And even after that, as we go through the weekend, there's going to be a serious risk of some heavy rainfall across northern Vietnam over towards Laos, because this isn't going to really lose too much moisture. It has plenty of moisture being fed from the southwest monsoon here, so a pretty decent risk of flooding after it does push overhead. And conditions improving behind it, though. So that's track from the Japan Meteorological Agency. We can pull up JTWC also here at our Tropical Storm Information Center at westpacificweather.com. Winds 83, gusting up to 102. They expect a landfall around a similar time after this does push over towards the Gulf of Tonkin and eventually off there towards the west. A slight weakening, but they really do keep it up there at the tropical storm to severe tropical storm intensity. Yeah, a lot of the agencies in agreement, mainly because the models are in agreement. But that is all for right now on Jebi right now, everybody. There's a lot else going on in the tropics today. And I know JTWC doesn't really want to hint at any of this, but we have Jebi. Yesterday had our little Invest 93W there, that low pressure area that moved past Taiwan as a medium area. And now, though, I think that going through the weekend, this area could very well become a tropical depression, and then even farther towards the east, out into this sort of region, towards the east of Guam, very well could have something going through next week. And I think this area near Palau is really just going to kind of spin up on us here. Going through the next 24 hours, taking a look at the GFS model run, and you can see something developing right there towards the east of Samar, moving onshore on Saturday night. That could drop some heavy rainfall with it. The problem is this area just got hit by Jebi, ground very well already saturated, so you're going to be looking at the risk, even if it is a small storm, which it likely is going to be, but still the risk of some heavy rainfall on already saturated ground, so there's a continued threat of flooding. A little bit farther south than what we were talking about the last few days. We actually expected to move a little bit farther here towards the north there into southern Luzon over towards Manila. It does look like right now the track is likely going to be a little bit farther there towards the south, but still pretty serious threat of flooding here. Then let's look ahead at the forecast. GFS really has just been confirming so far what is going to be happening, so I like using them. I've been comparing it up with other models, and they're kind of on the similar line as this. So yeah, it pushes out there and towards the South China Sea, and possibly comes a next named or large tropical system. Very well could be the next typhoon if it does get these ingredients together out here. Severe tropical storm, though, I don't think it's out of the question. It's going to be following the similar path that we just saw with Jebi, so we could see seeing a very similar type of system as it does push out here with that large, deep depressional type look out of it after it pushes off towards the northwest, and very well could impact southeastern China again. And meanwhile, we still have that tropical there. Let's look ahead throughout the next week. That's going to push on the screen. Guam right here, Palau right here. I want to keep an eye on this because not just is GFS picking up on something in the long range here by mid-week, we're talking about going into the 6th and the 7th, but ECMWF, CMC also has been picking up on something. So at the same time, we're talking about a tropical system possibly in the South China Sea, and something else starts to develop here, and it pushes off there towards the west, and quickly develops actually once it moves into the Philippine Sea over there towards Luzon, possibly the Luzon Strait. Earlier model runs were taking a little bit farther towards the north. I think that pulling farther down here towards south, southern Taiwan, northern Philippines is more logical given the fact of the strength of the Westpac High, which has just been dominating while your weather is so dry out here in the southern Japanese islands. It could lift a little bit farther towards the north, but I think Okinawa, a direct landfall seems a little bit out of the question at this time from a tropical system. Very likely a little bit farther down there towards the south. But this is still long range. Granted, a lot of the models and the consistency in it is hard to argue with, but it's still very, very long range. We're going to continue to keep an eye on. But you got to remember, it is the Western Pacific, and it is August, so typhoon season really is going to start kicking up out here. That is all for right now, everybody. Thanks again for watching here at westernpacificweather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please post them down in the comment box below, and stay safe out there.